Hey, I've got this idea. Tell me what you think. Yeah, that is a really good idea. I'm going to use that one.
Yeah, so Josh got this cardboard cutout of The Rock Sunday, and he's been taking it to work with him. It's basically been like the 5th team member. But, I mean, it's just really frustrating because now Josh has no time for me. He's spending all of his time with The Rock. And it's even worse because The Rock can't do any of the work that, like, I'm supposed to be doing. He never hangs out with kids. He makes the worst coffee ever. He never staples any of his things. And it's just really frustrating.
I'm going to go get a water bottle. You want one? Okay, cool. Here you go. Hey, we're going to go to lunch.
All right.
All right, see you.
Hey, Josh, I had something...
I'm in a meeting. Get out.
I didn't realize.
All right. Good day.
It's the Midweek Live Show. Featuring your middle school minister, Avery Huff, Hannah Garza, Caleb Hatchett, and your high school minister, Josh Hardcastle.
Hey everybody, welcome to Midweek Live. We're so glad that you chose to join us tonight. We are in week 11, 12, 13, I don't know. They all run together now at this point. We're above 10, and we've really enjoyed making these each week. It's been a lot of fun. We've laughed a lot. Sometimes we've cried through our laughter because it was so funny. But seniors, seriously, thank you so much for that gift. I know it was kind of silly, but that rock meant a lot to me, and I had like a glisten in my eye. I was really sweaty that day.
It was the allergies.
Yeah, that's right. I have bad allergies. But no, I'll always remember that and cherish that, and I'll have it put up in my office until somebody steals it and starts using it for pranks. I don't know.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for that.
This week we're going to continue our series called Kingdom Justice, where we're looking at stories in the Gospels where Jesus really restores his humanity and the image of him. And so we're going to dive into that right now, and we'll meet you back right here.
Okay. Hello, good evening, and welcome back to Midweek Live. We're so excited that you're here, and we're so excited to be here. We're continuing our series tonight on Kingdom Justice, where we're talking about a bunch of different things. And last week we talked about Mark 1 and the leper, and seeing each other and loving each other and honoring each other as God's children and all of the implications that come with it. So tonight we're going to be continuing that series in Luke chapter 10. And Caleb, do you want to go ahead and tell us who's here to teach Luke 10?
Yeah, so this week we're in Luke 10, 29 through 37, and we actually have the Good Samaritan here with us today, also known as Victor Huff.
Junior.
Hey guys, thanks for having me here this week.
Of course.
This week we're talking about Luke 10, 29 through 37, and it's such a great story. I'm not going to read it all. I'm just going to go through the highlights because I think that's super important. So, to start out, Jesus is asked by a teacher of the law. He says, "Who is my neighbor?" the teacher of the law, asks Jesus this, and Jesus, like always, he tells a parable to describe what he wants to say. And so he tells this parable of a man who's going on a road and he gets robbed. He gets beaten half to death. And a Levite passes by, which a Levite is, there were 12 tribes of Israel, and so a Levite was one of those tribes. They were meant to be the holy tribe. They were meant to be the tribe taking care of the tabernacle, taking care of the temple. And then a priest passes by and walks completely on the other side of the road. And then a Samaritan walks by, helps the man out, takes him to an inn, pays for everything, says, if you need any more money, it's on me. And so Jesus asks the man, which do you think was the neighbor? And the man said, the expert in the law said, the man who had mercy on him. And Jesus said, go and do likewise.
Cool. So you mentioned a little bit about the Levite tribe and stuff, but can you tell us a little bit more of the context of this story? Like what's going on historically, background, what's happening?
Yeah, of course. We have like this 20th century American view of the Bible, and so I think it's so important to look at what was going on, the historical context. We see now like these two groups. The Jewish people, we see them now as like the good guys, and then the Samaritan was like the not so good guys, but he still helped out. But I want to shed some light on that. I think it's important to view how the Jewish people saw the Samaritans in that time and why Jesus is using a Samaritan in this story. So the Jewish people, they were conquered in 700 BC by the Assyrians. The Assyrians just charged them a little bit, but then the Assyrians were conquered by the Babylonians. Nebuchadnezzar, you know that whole story. If you watched the Vegetables.
The VeggieTales.
VeggieTales.
The vegetables.
If you watched VeggieTales, you know the story of Nebuchadnezzar. They conquered the Jewish empire, the Israelites, and they were taken into slavery. The people left behind were seen as the Samaritans. Whenever the Jewish people were freed 500 years later by the Persians, the Persian people let the Israelites go back into their land. And so the people who didn't go into slavery, the people who didn't have to suffer, were known as the Samaritans. The Samaritans intermarried with different tribes, different races, different ethnicities, because there was not as many Jewish people around because they were taken away into slavery. And so when the Jewish people came out of slavery, they came back to Israel, they saw themselves as better because they went to a holy struggle. They went to a suffering, and so they thought that God was testing them, and they thought that they were the chosen people over the Samaritans because they went into slavery. And the Samaritans were seen as lesser to the Jewish people. Not only were there just two groups, not only were there Jewish peoples and Samaritan, there were individual groups. We have denominations now today, and the Jewish people had several different denominations back then, and as well as today. There were the Hellenistic, the Greek Jews, there were the Hebraic Jews, there was the Sumerian Jews, and then also the Samaritans were full of so many different tribes and languages and made up of all different sorts of people. The Jewish people, when they would take a Samaritan to court, they would almost always win. The Jewish people would almost always beat the Samaritans in court because the Samaritans were viewed as lesser. This is where Jesus comes in. Jesus comes in at the perfect time. He comes into the picture, and the expert of the law is asking them, who is my neighbor? It says he wants to justify himself. It says, but he wanted to justify himself for his actions because he knows that as a Jewish man, he has viewed the Samaritans as not as good as himself. And so Jesus tells this parable to emphasize that the Jewish people were missing the point. The priests and the Levites walked on the other side of the road, but the Samaritan was the one that helped him. Jesus tells this story to change the view of the people group, the Samaritans. The Samaritans were not bad people. We can see them sometimes as the bad people who helped in the situation. They were not bad people who did something good in this story, but they were the people group. This is a good man. The Samaritan man was a good man who was helping out. They weren't a bad people doing something good in this specific moment. He was a good people. Jesus is saying to be the good Samaritan, which means showing mercy. The Jewish leader answers at the end, show mercy is how the Samaritan showed up right there. But it's also saying to look past the physical bounds that I think are holding us back. God doesn't call this person the good human. He calls him the good Samaritan for a reason. This is crucial. This is to show the Jewish people that the group that they thought were lesser, the group that they thought might have been lesser in race, in education, in status, they were and are good. We must look and acknowledge how this man is different and how he did good. When you look at someone as less educated, susceptible to violence, or lesser than you, you're changing your view of God, because we are all made in his image. Jerry Taylor this past week said something really great. He said, our primary citizenship is in the holy nation, the nation of God, the kingdom of God. We belong to God, and we must be willing to see everyone as if they belong to God. Every tribe, every nation is capable of doing God's work. We are made to do God's work, and we are made in his image, and even though his image might look different throughout every nation, every race, the kingdom of heaven is here. And Jerry Taylor also said one more incredible thing. He said, in order to bring the kingdom of heaven down to the earth, we must be willing to see the glimpse of heaven with every nation, with every race, and every people group. And so I want to encourage you guys today to go and do likewise, to look at everyone as Jesus sees them, not Jew or Samaritan, but good people, but Christians, but lovers of, as the glimpse of heaven that Jerry Taylor has described. I encourage you guys to picture heaven as you look at everyone and anyone. Each person has worth, each person has value, each person has purpose. And this purpose cannot be changed by where they live. This purpose can't be changed by how we look at them or what you think of them. When you look at someone different, when you look at someone in a different view, you change the view of God, because God has made everyone. And so, who is your neighbor?
Yeah, Victor, I think those are really great thoughts. And I think also, just thinking about it, hearing you talk, I think about just in our schools and in our systems, like there's so many systematic divisions in clubs, in sports, in classes, in majors, in whatever it is. And so I think it's really interesting to kind of think in this way that you're encouraging us to think, like to look at everyone as a glimpse of heaven and to see what that looks like in every single person. And so I think those are really great thoughts, and it's encouraging for me to think about it as I look at all of those divisions and then consider that is heaven. That's what it's going to look like, and how do I start to look at it that way as well. So
And like for me, I don't know, that phrase, like, who is your neighbor, and the emphasis on neighbor. I mean, I think you can, oh wow. Even if you go all the way back to like Leviticus, and like Leviticus 19, 18, and Leviticus is hard to get through because it's all rules, right? But there's two definitions in Leviticus, and I'll do another one in Matthew of who is our neighbor, right? And so in 18 it says, do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against anyone among your people, but love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. So there it's kind of like, that one makes sense. The people around you, the among your people are your neighbors. That one I feel like makes the most sense to us. But then in 33 it says, when a foreigner resides among you in your land, do not mistreat them. The foreigner residing among you must be treated as your native born. Love them as yourself, for you were foreigners in Egypt. And using the transitive property, right? Love your neighbor as yourself. Love them as yourself. Those people not native borns, those foreigners, are also your neighbor, which is kind of harder for like us to understand, I feel like. And then to take it even one step further, Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount, he's talking just about the old laws, about the same laws that I mentioned in Leviticus. He says, you have heard it was said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. He says, take it one step further. Not only love those around you, not only love those people who you're supposed to love everyone. Love those people who you have contempt in your heart for. Love those people. Pray for those people. And that's the most powerful thing you can do, is pray for someone, right? Because it means you not only care about, their physical well-being, but also their spiritual well-being, which, in my opinion, is way more important, right? And so, like, to me, that's just kind of what it is, and that's so hard. That's so hard for me. I have contempt for a lot of people, not only people who just did me wrong, but just like kind of different groups of people that I can look at and be like, how do you do those things? How can you think that way? But I'm called to still love those people, right? And so in every way, and no matter who it is, whether you walk into your school, not only the people in the church, in your small group, you're called to love them, not only the people who you're friends with at your school, but like also the wider groups of people that you don't even know, that you just know glimpses of and see glimpses of, get to know them and pray for them, right? And so that's just kind of where I landed on who my neighbor is.
Those are great points. I really like you guys' points about how it relates to us. And I think that a great question to ask yourself and as we go out is, who is your neighbor? I think that's what Jesus asks to this man of the law, and I think it's a question that we can take with us today.
Well, good job, Victor. I think we're going to send it back over to Avery and Josh to wrap up. I gave him a fist bump. Good job, Victor.
Thank you, Caleb and Hannah and Victor. Thanks for joining us this week. I've really enjoyed these conversations, especially in light of everything that's going on around us in our world today. I think it's important that we think about what we can do as Christians, as followers of Jesus, just to do something in this world today. And so right now we're going to jump into our student spotlight of the week. And this week, Ethan Carpenter is going to be sharing his gift of gab with us and doing his best at reading a very familiar book to some of y'all. So check this out.
Hey everybody, it's Ethan, and I'm reading Fox and Socks as fast as I can. Let's see how this goes. Fox, socks, box, knocks. Knocks and box, fox and socks. Knocks on fox and socks in box. Socks on knocks and knocks and box, fox and socks on box on knocks. Chicks with bricks come, chicks with blocks come, chicks with bricks and blocks and clocks come. Lookser, Mr. Knoxer, let's do tricks with bricks and blocks, sir. Let's do tricks with chicks and clocks, sir. First I'll make a quick trick brick stack, then I'll make a quick trick block stack. You can make a quick trick chick stack, you can make a quick trick clock stack. And here's a new trick, Mr. Knox, socks and chicks on fox and fox on clocks and bricks on bricks on blocks and knocks on box. Now we come on tricks and talks, sir. Tried to say this, Mr. Knoxer. Clocks on fox ticks, clocks on knocks talk. Six sick bricks tick, six sick chicks talk. Please, sir, I don't like this trick, sir. My tongue isn't quick or slick, sir. I get all these ticks and clocks, sir, mixed up with the chicks and talks, sir. I can't do it, Mr. Fox, sir. I'm so sorry, Mr. Knoxer. Here's an easy game to play. Here's an easy thing to say. New socks, two socks, who socks, Sue socks. Who sews who socks, Sue sews Sue socks. Who sees who sew whose new socks, sir? You see Sue sew Sue's new socks, sir. That's not easy, Mr. Fox, sir. Who comes, crow comes, slow Joe, crow comes. Who sews crow's clothes, Sue sews crow's clothes. Slow Joe, crow sews whose clothes, Sue's clothes. Sue sews socks of fox and socks. Shoujo crow shoes knocks in box now. Sue sews rose on Slow Joe crow's clothes, fox shoes rose on Slow Joe crow's nose. Hose goes, rose grows, nose hose goes, some crows rose grows some. Mr. Fox, I hate this game, sir. This game makes my tongue quite lame, sir. Mr. Knox, sir, what a shame, sir. We'll find something new to do now. Here is a lot of blue goo now. New goo, blue goo, gooey gooey, blue goo, new goo, gluey gluey. Gooey goo for chewing. That's what that goose is doing. Do you choose to chew goo too, sir? If sir, you sir choose to chew, sir, with the goo goose, chew, sir, do, sir. Mr. Fox, sir, I won't do it. I can't say it. I won't chew it. Very well, sir. Step this way. We'll find another game to play. Whew. Ben comes, Bim brings bin broom, Bin brings bim broom, Bim bins bim's broom, Bim bins bin's broom, Bim's bins bin bins, Bins bint broom breaks, Bim's bint broom breaks. Bins band, big bands, big pans, Bim and bin lead bands with brooms, Bins bands and Bims band booms. Pig band, boom band, big band, broom band. My poor mouth can't say that. No, it can't. No, sir, my poor mouth is much too slow, sir. Well, then bring your mouth this way. I'll find it something it can say. Luke lies lakes. Luke's ducks likes lakes. Luke licks lakes. Luke's duck licks lakes. Duck takes licks in lakes, Luke likes, Luke takes licks in lakes, Duck likes. I can't blab such blubber, my tongue isn't made of rubber. Mr. Knox, come now, you don't have to be so dumb now. Try to say this, Mr. Knox, please. Through 3 cheese trees, 3 free fleas flew, while these fleas flew, freezy, breezy, blue, freezy, breezy, made these 3 trees, breezy, freezy trees, made these trees. Cheesy freeze, that's what made these 3 free fleas sneeze. Stop it, that's enough, sir. I can't say such silly stuff, sir. Very well then, Mr. Knox, sir. Let's have a little talk about Tweedle Beetles. What do you know about Tweedle Beetles? Well, when Tweedle Beetles fight, it's called Tweedle Beetle battle, and when they battle in a puddle, it's a Tweedle Beetle puddle battle. And when Tweedle Beetles battle with paddles in a puddle, they call it a Tweedle Beetle puddle battle. And when beetles battle beetles in a paddle battle, and the beetle puddle is a puddle in a bottle, they call this a Tweedle Beetle bottle puddle paddle battle muddle. And when beetles fight these battles in a bottle with their paddles and the bottles on a poodle, and the poodle's eating noodles, they can this a muddle puddle tweedle poodle beetle noodle bottle paddle battle. And now wait a minute, Mr. Socks Fox. When a fox is in the bottle where the Tweedle Beetles battle with their paddles in a puddle on a noodle-eating poodle, this is what they call it: Tweedle Beetle Noodle Poodle Bottle Paddle Muddled Duddled Fuddled Wuddled Fox and Socks, sir. Fox and Socks, our game is done, sir. Thank you for a lot of fun, sir. How was your tongue numb?
Yeah, it is.
Thanks, Ethan, for that. That book is a lot harder to read than you might think. But a couple quick announcements before we head out for the night. This Sunday, we are back online, and so make sure you tune in to our online service at 10 o'clock, and then we'll have another student ministry online at 4 o'clock on Sunday, so make sure you tune in to both of those.
And for middle school, we have 2 events coming up. So this Thursday, so tomorrow, from 6:30 to 8:30 at the front of Southern Hills. If you're a middle school girl, come to the painting party. You get to meet intern Hannah and hang out with her, which is going to be really, really cool. And then middle school boys next Friday, so not this Friday. 6:30 to 8:30, we are going to Victor's mom's house for a pool party, and intern Caleb Hatchett will be there. And there's a potbelly pig, and there's chickens, and there's swimming and a diving board. So you don't want to miss those 2 events. And if you are an 8th grader going into 9th grade, you are for sure welcome to join us at these 2 events.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. We'll see y'all on Sunday.
Bye. Adios. Ciao.
Get out of here.
Thank you, seniors, so much. Do we need to say welcome to Midweek Live? Yeah.
I was like, thank you, seniors. Welcome to Midweek.
Hello.
Okay. I waved. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah, sorry, go. Okay, ready? Wait, do you want to start the first part and recap last week, and then I'll introduce Vic? Does that sound
Sure. Good evening. Okay, cut. Okay.
No, use it.
Good evening. See now?
Okay, I'm gonna start.
No, I got this. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to
Midweek Live. Maybe
We've only been doing this for 12 weeks.
Well, I know what it is. I'm just not in the, headspace.
You got it,
Did you
Caleb.
just wake up?
No, I didn't actually. I woke
Take
up at
4.
10.
Lights, camera, action.
Last week, in case you missed it, me and Hannah here, that's us, we talked about just kind of, what did we even talk about?
We talked about...
Ah!
Caleb, you could have recovered from that.
Yeah, so Luke 10:25 is going to be the Good Samaritan. Yes!
29 to 37.
I'm definitely looking at it.
I know, but we're not doing the first part.
Why does that matter?
Come on.
I'm Caleb Patrick. Victor, deep breath. We got this. Yeah, so this week we're in Luke 10:29 through the end of the chapter. And tonight we actually...
it's not. It's
Why does it matter?
29 through 37. Because it's
You're
Martha
right.
and Mary.
Hey, guys. Why don't I start over?